T-Bone informed me that you have been battling back against hate against David Pastrnak on Twitter.
Yeah. Which is a weird target to pick, by the way.
What prompted this? How did this start?
So there's been this talk of David Pastrnak all year long about how he doesn't show up in big games or he doesn't give you enough, which, again, I don't see how that's the case. A frequent complaint about David Pastrnak is the turnovers. And I will say that we finally saw a bad turnover on Tuesday night. I do not think that they are as backbreaking or as truly crushing as the general public seems to believe when they talk about David Pastrnak. I want to read off something to you real quick, a stat that I have here. These are giveaways per 60 minutes, right? David Pastrnak is number one among all NHL forwards, 3.6 per 60. He gives a puck away. Yeah, it's fine. All right, now I'm going to name the players that are right below him, and you tell me, would you take this player on your team or not? Matthew Barzal. Would you take him?
Yes.
Yes.
Leon Draisaitl.
Yes.
Yep.
Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Philip Forsberg.
Yep.
Brad Marchand.
Yep.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
When do we get to the bad names?
Exactly. This is the point. So if you go through this list, right, basically the top 20, they're all superstars. These are all players who have the puck on their stick a lot and are asked to make plays. Now, yes, sometimes they're ill-advised plays. However, this is what happens when you have a superstar talent. They can do stuff that nobody else can do. So you ask them to have the puck on their stick.
When you have the puck more, you give it away more.
Yes.
It's like Tom Brady or Bill Belichick has the most losses.
But you have confirmed that
enough.
he does give it away at a rate higher than anybody else.
Yes, but I don't think that is like a... I don't think that that's anything that is uncommon to a superstar, if that makes sense.
Well, is his rate uncommonly high relative to those other guys?
Yeah, how far down is the next guy?
Volume is one thing. Rate
Pastrnak
would be a little different.
3.6 per 60. Barzal is at 3.35 per 60. Draisaitl's at 3.3. Kucherov's at 3.3. McDavid's at 3.1. So they're all over 3.
He is number one with a bullet. Those next few are more tightly lumped together, it sounds like.
Well, if it's 0.3 per 60, so that's a third of a turnover more per game.
So every 3 games he's turning the puck over
once more than
time. Yeah. There's a way to put it. Every 3 games you have one extra turnover, but offensively he's more gifted than some of the guys you named there.
Yes, 100%.
So the trade-off is fine. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Okay.
And then there are other parts to that game, too, that I find.
The per 60 stat, that's like 2 or 3 games for a player, right?
Yeah, that'd be about 3 games for Pastrnak, yeah. Like, give or take, just under or just over. But, the commonality here is that all these guys are MVP candidates for the most part. Like McKinnon's 11th. He's going to win the Hart Trophy, probably. Nathan McKinnon is the MVP this year, and he's 11th on this list. This is what happens when you're asked to make puck plays. You will turn it over. It's just how it goes. But the tenor that we're complaining about David Pastrnak, a guy who has basically single-handedly carried this team this year offensively, I find just wild. There are 42 points between Pastrnak and the next closest Bruins scorer. There's a 42-point gap. And we're focusing on David Pastrnak as the problem? Are we out of our minds? That is he is the key. And I just think that you look at it I don't know if we were just, Bergeron was the closest thing that this town had and this team had to a superstar for a long time. So we expect all superstars to be two-way savants. It's really not the case. The game of hockey in 2024 is high risk, high reward, right? And I don't think you'd be happy if you had 12 plumbers who dumped the puck in and were lucky to score 15 goals a year. You have an artist. I appreciate the artistry of David Pastrnak, and I think when we focus on what he can't do well, we're really losing sight of the other issues on the roster. He is not an issue. Not even close to an issue, in my opinion. David Pastrnak is not.
All right. So, with that being said, you are drafting a new team from the 2 players. You're drafting a new team from the players that are on these 2 teams. Who's your first pick?
Austin Matthews.
And then who's your second pick?
David Pastrnak.
After that, how many Maple Leafs are you taking in a row?
Probably just 1. I'm probably just taking Mitch Marner. Maybe Nylander, so maybe 2. Yeah.
before you get to Marchand.
So
Or McAvoy.
three of the top four picks.
McAvoy first.
3 of the top 4 picks in this series between these two teams are Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're going to get much pushback on that if you're doing this exercise right now.
See, but this is where that exercise gets weird because the Maple Leafs have the big 5, right? But where's their Achilles heel? It's on the back end and the net. So if we are doing a draft based on team needs, both your goalies are going before their goalies, right? And what is more important in a 7-game series? Is goaltending or is it scoring? I would argue that's goaltending. That's how the series flipped last year. Bobrovsky makes some big saves at timely moments, and your guys don't. And there's the series right there. And so, David Pastrnak was the Bruins' best player in Game 7 last year.
So who's going 5 in this draft? Then taking Marchand?
I might be taking Swayman or Allmark.
You're going goalie very soon. That doesn't make this fun. Start taking the goalies.
What if it's just forward?
Yeah, what if it's just forwards?
It's just forwards. Then
So now you've got to debate when you're taking Tavares.
I might be taking Tavares after Marchand. And I think Coyle and Tavares is closer in 2024 than people realize. I firmly believe that. That might be closer than people realize in 2024. 2019, not even close. 2024, a little bit closer. So, yeah, the Leafs have the higher end skill. But this is the problem with Toronto. It's not about all the talent you have. It's about blending it together and making it win games. And they're missing the thing that I would take high, which is a goaltender. That's been their Achilles heel. They've tried so many different goalies now and so many different defenses.
So with what you're describing, if this is a high-scoring series, who does that benefit? That means everybody's scoring. That means the Maple Leafs have mediocre goaltending. The Bruins are finding ways to get secondary scoring. It's not all just David Pastrnak. And, yes, it is a formidable forward group for the Maple Leafs, so they're finding ways to score.
And this is why this series is so hard to nail down, because what you're talking about, if I'm saying, the Leafs can score, the problem is Leafs are entering the playoffs with 22 goals allowed in their last, I think, 4 or 5 games. So they're giving up over 4 goals a game right now. And if we go to the head-to-head matchup between these teams this year, we look at the talent of Toronto and go, look at that talent, man. That's unbelievable. Toronto's power play against Boston this year was 9%. Boston's was 30%. So if that plays out, forget about their talent. They can't score on the man advantage, and the Bruins can. That's going to make a difference.
And the Leafs' power play has been slumping overall recently. So they've been bad against the Bruins, and they're not good right now.
And so that and this is where this series is just so hard to nail down. It's like, whose fatal flaws can be exposed more than just the talent? Because the talent game, to your point, what we're getting at here, the Leafs have more talent. It's just their team game has not been connected the way that it should be for a group with this much talent. And the other part of it, too, is that they have some guys that are spare parts, or I shouldn't say that, but like lower tier secondary kind of helpers in big roles right now. Like, they don't have Mark Giordano, their veteran defenseman, so they have Simone Benoit right now in a top 4 role. Simone Benoit was unsigned into late August last year. And you can say, okay, well, the Bruins have Danton Heinen on the second line. He was a PTO guy, sure. However, Danton Heinen is skating with a superstar player. Simone Benoit is not necessarily skating with the Leafs' best defenseman, in my opinion.